Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Alex Harper, the founder of Women of Culture. We are a community designed to connect, empower, and inspire women through meaningful engagement of the arts. If you don't know who we are, hope you will check us out. So, thank you for joining this special lunchtime edition of Women of Culture Wednesdays, which is a series where I chat with different artists about their work and process and find out the stories behind their work. So today I'm super excited to chat with Serena Bocchino, who is an American visual artist whose practice investigates the intersection of abstraction and expressionism, and she focuses a lot on music, movement, and identity. So it should be really oh, sorry about that. I'm back. All right, so we should be able to get her on in just a minute. There we go. So technology always keeps us on our toes. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Good, good. I was glad we were able to connect. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know it's always a little tricky the first time you're doing it. So, how's your day going?
Good, very good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, awesome. So I'd love to just start at the beginning and have you tell us a little bit more about, where you're from and how you first discovered art.
Okay. So I'm from New Jersey. I grew up here and have had studios, different studios here in different places and in the tri-state area. My mother was an artist, and
Okay.
I grew up in a very creative environment. The whole house, in fact, was like her palette
Oh,
and
wow.
her canvas, actually.
Yeah.
Always grew up with different art everywhere, classical music, opera. So it was a real well-rounded sort of artistic environment for a young child.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds like a great environment to grow up
Very,
in.
very stimulating.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, were you encouraged to try doing your own art, or it was just everywhere, so you just sort of picked it up?
Exactly. It was everywhere. And so I'm one of six. So we all would do art. So we come
Oh,
home from school and my mom would be doing paper mache or she would be painting and we would just join right in. It was just
oh,
a
that's awesome.
very
So, did you experiment with other mediums or art forms, or were you always attracted to painting?
right. So what happened was, we always experimented with different things growing up. And then
Yeah.
I really had a desire, I'd say in my teens, which is kind of natural for that age, to want to paint and draw the natural environment around me. And I
Mhm.
wanted it photorealistic, which is kind of funny because I'm an abstract painter right now.
Yeah.
And sculpture for the past 20 years or whatever. So, but back then I wanted to learn how to do pastels and realism and oil painting, and all those things were very important to me.
Yeah.
So I did take some outside lessons, and that was through high school.
Okay.
And in college, I did decide to major in studio art.
Okay. Okay.
Very firm at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So by then you kind of knew, like, this is what I want to do with my life. Like, I want to make art.
Yes.
Yeah.
And out of college, I did get a job, believe it or not, from the New York Times, which is
Oh,
kind of fun,
yeah.
to do visual advertising, marketing, window display, and interior displays for a clothing company. And I think I was in the window about doing it a year or so, and
Mhm.
the whole window fell
Oh,
down, right? And I said, I think I have to try and see if I could be a painter in New York City. I mean, that's when I decided, let me try something else. I can't do this job forever. It was
yeah.
fun. I was friendly with the managers of the stores. I had a lot of freedom. I actually won awards in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I just said I can't commit my life to really just doing this. I don't think that's going to be fulfilling for me right now.
Yeah.
So I did do, had an opportunity to go to Russia at that
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, postgraduate art tour. It was very unique at that time, particularly what was going on in the world. That was in the 80s.
Wow.
And I enrolled in a graduate program in New York City at NYU. And
Okay.
that trip. And I said, and it was the perfect time because the East Village movement of art was just beginning.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if you know about that movement, but it was when artists, all creatives, performance artists, visual artists, poets, writers, art critics, collectors, gallerists, all were together
Mm.
going to openings at certain nights of the week.
Oh,
It was a real vibrant, cool, fun, open time, I
yeah.
would say. It was
Yeah.
art world. Yeah, it was great.
Were you living in the East Village at that time? Or?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I love your
Oh,
earrings.
thank you. um, yeah, obviously I wasn't here at that time, but you hear stories about that time of art in New York in general. It's just so different, but of art being such a big part of the city at that time, and
It
so
really was. It
yeah.
really was so accessible, particularly
Mhm.
artist. I was so impressionable and
Mhm.
able to just meet a lot of people and just kind of hang out. It was just a terrific time.
Yeah.
Very educational and inspiring, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So do you think that really kind of shaped your career, being able to be a part of that
Yeah.
scene and having access, I guess, to so many different artists and people in the art world?
It did. It did. It really did. It allowed me at a very young age to show my work, to
Hmm.
understand the business a little better.
Mm.
Um, and I also started working for other artists, being their assistants.
Oh, nice.
And that also was a great opportunity to just see the way different artists work and yeah, just to experience what it's like to really be an artist, a working artist in New York.
Right. Yeah, I was curious when you transitioned to doing more abstract work, because you said you started out doing more like figurative. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. A key element was during that time, I was
Mhm.
also awarded a residency at PS1
Okay.
in, so you're familiar with that? It's an
Yeah.
international residency program. It wasn't affiliated with MoMA
Okay.
then when I did it. So it still had some grassroots feel to it,
Yeah.
which I thought was really good. And I think I was the youngest artist ever actually
Wow.
allowed to do it.
Yeah.
And I met artists from all over the world, which is always impactful and interesting and very invigorating
Yeah.
at least for me. And so what I was doing then was pictures, paintings of the saxophone. And the way that came about was I was trying to get transition from more personal and more family imagery to something that I could be passionate about. And I was
Mm.
saying, passionate thing that I've experienced till now. And it was that whole idea of jazz music instruments, things like that. So I started painting these saxophones and flutes and all these different instruments at PS1 and doing sculpture. And just that was the beginning. And
Yeah.
you know what it is when you paint about 100 paintings of an object, you start abstracting it
Right.
because where am I going with this? Anyway, that started it off.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's interesting that you were like actually painting the image, like the object first,
Right.
and then, uh, because yeah, now I mean you're more sort of like interpreting the music in a way, or yeah.
Exactly. Right. So then I
Yeah.
was doing instruments and now I'm actually doing what it sounds like. And what
Yeah.
I mean. Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. How did you get into jazz? Was that part of your family and your upbringing also?
Actually, it's funny. My family was more opera and classical music.
Okay.
It was, well, you know what's interesting? I was able to meet Sue Mingus, so Charlie Mingus's
Yeah.
wife.
Oh, wow.
And hung out with her, hung out with people she was with, would listen to the music and the different bands that she put together. And I think that was a lot to do with it, actually.
Yeah.
That clubs and things at that age, yeah.
Right, right. It's interesting to think about, like, also how the art world has changed so much, and much harder for young artists to have that kind of exposure. And I think, you know.
Well, actually, there's still a lot of opportunity. And I'd
Okay.
say the US than sometimes Europe.
Okay.
Germany is broken out into some real alternative things.
Yeah.
But what's great about the US art world is that it's not, you could almost get into any opening you want to get into. Like it's not so separate.
Yeah.
And there are alternative spaces that you could get into with your work. And that's how I started even.
Yeah.
People saw my work at different venues, contact.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. I have you said you worked in Russia for a little while, and
I didn't work in Russia. I did just an art tour. I
oh,
didn't
okay.
stay there more than a few weeks. I mean, it was
Right.
restricted.
Yeah.
But I was in, I did the certainly the college time abroad, but that was in England.
Okay.
And yeah, I think traveling is great. I did have an exhibition when I was young in Italy, and so I think it's very important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was just interested because you said the after going to Russia that really helped you like decide that you wanted to sort of go into the MFA program. And
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
It did. Yes.
Yeah, cool. I'd love just to hear about, some of the things that you're working on currently. I know you have a lot of different projects and and things that you're working on. So.
Different things. Should I show you?
Yeah, yeah, that would be
That'd
great.
be okay.
Yeah, of course.
So let's see. So I'm going to switch the camera to the work, and let's see. Okay. So we could even start. This is actually what I'm working on now, which is quite different
Oh,
and
wow.
very atmospheric painting. And that's using acrylic as well as oil and all the different mark making and pours. And this is a drawing of it. And many times when I paint, I actually like to do a work on paper of it. So it's to continue to explore what I'm doing. And it just helps me. I like to have an idea and really explore it.
Yeah.
I could show you, these are sculptures. I did a studio residency at the Eileen Kaminsky Family Foundation at Mana. Have
Oh,
you been
cool.
to Mana,
Yeah.
Jersey City? Have you been there?
Oh, I haven't been,
Oh,
but
sorry.
I know of it.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you. Yeah. Have
Okay.
you been there in
I
Jersey City?
haven't actually been. I keep meaning to go. Yeah, I know, about it, but
Oh, I'd love to go with you. We could go with a group.
oh,
You
that
would
would be
love it.
awesome. Yeah.
So what happened was I started doing suspended sculpture there. See these wire
Oh,
sculptures?
those are
And
beautiful.
and
Yeah.
and thank you. Those were an international studio program also. That was in 2017. So it really sparked a lot of things just being in those programs. This is a recent painting. It's like with collage imagery all over. You could see up close different types of just drips and pours and drawings.
Are these all sort of music inspired as well? Like,
Yeah, pretty much about sound. The lyricism is always in my head, and you could tell by the mark making and the flow and the atmospheric. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
This is a series I did here on wood. These pieces, so they were a print. They started with a silk screen, and now they're a monotype. I thought it'd be cool to show like the progression and the different different ways I work the surface and stuff. This is another painting. I saw an interview you did with another artist, and I loved when they showed the studio, so I hope you don't mind.
No, I
I
love
just
it.
like seeing everything.
Yeah.
So
No.
this is poured paint. This is strictly, sorry, yeah, strictly poured paint. So this was a much earlier piece I did in the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Just so you could see. This is some stationary sculpture that I do too.
Oh,
You could
cool.
see all the wire and what's interesting, the base of this is actually straight paint that I use like clay. Do you
Oh,
see
wow.
that?
Yeah.
That
Oh, that's really cool.
Thank you. Thanks. This is another one. Yeah. Should we go into, do you want to see the, should I show you the products of the new company?
Oh yeah, that would be great.
That'd be fine. Okay, these are more of my
Are
sculptures.
those all like poured paint as well, like the bases?
Exactly. Yeah, these are like bases of poured bright colors. Some of them. This one is older, and you
Okay.
could see it. This one, it has like wood underneath here, and I developed it and did the variety of line, which is so important to me. So I took the wire and then like made it thick in different areas and thinner. And this
Yeah.
as well. Um, So what happened was we were talking about, there's a real big one over there. Oh, so I had the opportunity to go to China in 2017 in a big exhibition.
Cool.
And this large wire sculpture is helpful because I did a gigantic installation there with the help of some grad students in China when we were invited. So that was a wonderful opportunity. Again, that international opportunity is
Mm,
so good. You learn so much from
yeah.
other artists. So,
Yeah.
okay. So anyhow, so my daughter and I, yeah, we launched this new company. You could see all these products during this pandemic. And what you're looking at is there's phone cases. It's called WeArtShop.art. And these are towels, beach towels, these really thick beach towels that we made. And these are headbands. And these actually are yoga mats, which is kind of
Oh,
cool.
I
Yoga
love it. Yeah.
exercise. Isn't that cool? So they
Yeah.
roll out, they're vegan suede. So anyway, that was a great, just something else. They're inspired by my designs, obviously, from different, different times that I like to work in series. So different series of my work that seem to relate to product.
Mm, yeah. So were they, I mean, these were all pieces that were sort of already complete, or did you create new work for them? Or
Well, that's a good question. They're actually complete. I did do a series called iPop,
okay.
and they right. So it was very vibrant. Like this one in particular was iPop. This was iPop. Some were not. This one was done after China, so it was more recent, 2017, 18. So it just depended
Yeah.
what we thought worked. And like I think the work I'm doing now wouldn't necessarily the more painterliness wouldn't necessarily maybe work on objects. Maybe it would,
Mm,
so
right.
we're just starting. We just launched. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So you said that idea started during the pandemic.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm just curious how that sort of, I mean, was it your daughter's idea or how did that come to fruition?
pretty much. Yeah. I did do a collaboration with a company to do dresses at one point,
Okay.
and I'm doing that just a few. But she said, "Let's do objects. Let's do product." So yeah, it was my daughter basically drove it,
Yeah.
and she's very good at it. So I said,
I love that mother-daughter teamwork.
"Too very absolutely yes, yes."
And
I'm with
yeah, is it all like sold online
yes.
currently? Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now it's online. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weartshop.art.
Yeah.
All
Uh,
about. You'll see when you go to the website. It's very
yeah.
art driven and high quality. It's beautiful. I hope you'd like it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I looked around a little bit and yeah, there's gorgeous stuff on there. So, did you, sorry?
No, thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, no, I was curious if you had like reservations or if, it was weird, there's a lot of people feel like art should be separate than sales or commercial, or, obviously there is, artists have to sell their work. So,
Oh,
makes-
if you look well enough, every artist is doing product.
yeah,
Every artist showing all different museums. There's always product. I mean, if you're going to the museum shops,
right.
so
That's, yeah, yeah,
so I
yeah.
mean, we haven't launched with this, but I'd made scarves before, and those are like at the Vero Beach Museum. So there's other museum shops that I mean, eventually we'll probably carry these. We just haven't gone there with this product.
Yeah. Well,
So
and people aren't shopping so much in person right now anyway. So
To come online is kind of great. And I
yeah,
think people are getting used to it. I mean, personally, I really, really miss seeing art in person.
yeah,
I know I just took you on a little tour of the studio, but there's nothing like really standing there in front of a piece
for
and
sure.
just absorbing it and enjoying it.
Yeah,
Oh, I miss that.
yeah.
I, I do.
Yeah, where are you located? You're in New Jersey or?
I am. I'm in the
Yeah,
suburbs right now, which I'm very thankful because the
yeah,
air is so clean and it's
yeah.
really, I feel very, very fortunate during this time to have like a country studio or out of an urban area. And I show work regularly in San Francisco at Art House.
Okay.
I've been with them for years. Terrific people, great gallery.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I have the show at the
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to hear more about your work for that too.
Okay, yeah. So right, that just launched. It's the whole month of September.
Right.
Um, I heard the best entrance. I haven't been there yet. I'm going next week, but is Greenwich and Fulton. You
Okay.
go entrance and then you go downstairs. And what it is they digitized and projected the work larger than life on the boards, the digital displays where they normally have advertising.
Okay.
And it's called the Ad Art Show, and it's really
Right.
a lot of artists that are established or mid and or people in the art world who have had a desire to show their art as well as been in advertising. So it's kind of the dream child of Maria van Vlodrop. That's why it's called the MVVO. It's like her initials, and she's just a
Um,
wonderful person who
okay.
drive art for all. It's really a wonderful,
That's awesome.
yeah. So,
Yeah, it's great to be, yeah, especially at this time. I mean, now museums are starting to open, but it's been a little bit harder to go to see art. So that's, you
oh,
know.
absolutely. Yeah. And at the Oculus in Lower Manhattan, but they're doing a lot of things online.
Yeah.
It's a transportation hub with thousands of people. They just opened the retail part of it, the
Okay.
stores. I mean, I don't know. This is such an odd time.
Yeah.
Right now it's like pretty empty, but they said September 9th. Is that today, actually? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I know. I don't
it's,
know what day it is ever. So, yeah.
I can't remember, every day is almost this
Yeah.
bizarre.
And did you create a new work for that, or were they
Oh, okay.
projecting?
So, but good question. They actually chose several months ago.
Okay.
So the creators decided, and I do feel very fortunate to be part of this group. And I have two pieces in the show. One is from the Fever series, and one is actually from the iPop series. It's a photograph with abstracted poured paint on top of it. So
Oh,
it's
cool.
fun. It's a fun piece.
Yeah. Yeah, that made me think of another question. Like, do you usually pick sort of a piece of music that you want to interpret, or it just sort of, comes to you? Like, are you listening to jazz music while you're painting all the time, or how is your process?
No, that's a good question. Well, if you go to my website,
Mhm.
serenabocchino.com, there is the Fever series. The Fever series was about a very specific song, Fever,
Yeah.
and piece is almost titled after words in that song or a
Mm.
sentence in that song. And there's even a film, I think, about it. So it
Yeah.
could be informative there. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the work you just saw that I'm working on is called Rumblings. So
Okay.
yeah, the musical aspect, but it's also about other types of sounds and new music,
Mhm.
that sort of thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious if you generally start out with like a concept, or is it usually sort of, improvise as you go, or
No, that's true. Yes, I do start out with a very specific idea.
mhm.
What happens from that specific idea through the whole process of painting, it changes. And
Hmm.
the type of work I'm interested in, you have to have that change. So it's not, okay, I'm going to paint this picture today. It's this driving force and idea that you're thinking about a lot. And then when you begin to work, it transforms, and that's where the art happens. And
Hmm.
I don't even describe exactly
Yeah.
art, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that's in a nutshell my process, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Like I like that. Yeah, it's sort of in that, in what you said about, it's almost in that improvisation is where the art actually happens. You
Yes,
know, which is
that's true. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I guess that's how you'd say it.
yeah,
Otherwise, you're making a picture or making a design, you know what I mean? There's
right,
got to be something else going on, I think. I,
yeah.
maybe it sounds old fashioned, but that's how it is for me.
No, no, that's really, it's interesting. I mean, like, so this, the first one you showed us, that's the one that's rumblings. And was that like inspired by something in particular?
I think the signs of the times
Yeah,
actually, the whole rumbling of there's so many different aspects of things going on today, that it affects you, you know. I actually had a bit of a creative block in the beginning, I
yeah,
have to say, and I talked to a bunch of friends. I think a lot of people did.
right,
It was hard. It's
yeah,
just a strange time. I think you'd have to be really unique not to have been
yeah,
affected in a
yeah,
way. Had different losses and
yeah.
a lot of things. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, no, it's, and so much like uncertainty and just
Yes.
um, division in the world, and for sure.
Yeah. 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 It's hard. And as an artist, I am an optimist. So doing the best to push through and kind of figure a way to still find the hopefulness and beauty through it all. Not
Right.
easy, right? Not easy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's, I mean, I've heard, a lot of artists, I think, that have said like that it was great because they, had more time to focus on work, but then sometimes also, yeah, with so much going on in the world, sometimes, I mean, I've definitely struggled at times just feeling
Of course.
down, and,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm glad you've been able to keep, and that you have access to your studio, obviously, and that you've been able to keep working and
Yes, yes. Right now I have a studio in my home, so it's very much like brushing my teeth or
yeah,
something natural,
right,
something I love. I mean, I've also commuted to studios, so there's different and they both work. It just
yeah,
depends. But yeah, certainly for the pandemic time, I'm
yeah.
very yeah, very accessible studio, absolutely. Yeah.
Somebody asked, where are you currently showing? So obviously the Oculus, yeah,
Yeah, so the Oculus in Lower Manhattan, which would be a very cool thing because it's an unprecedented show in unprecedented times, because it is kind of virtual just by nature of being projected on these huge panels. But I am interested in going there just because I think they're gigantic.
yeah,
So I'm seeing that, just the nature, and that's hard to capture on a virtual, right?
yeah,
But
yeah. No, you definitely have to see it in person for
right?
sure.
No, I'm going to go because it's right here in New York.
Yeah.
But I'm also showing at a museum. I think it starts September 16th, actually. CIMA in South Korea.
Oh,
So they will be showing an animated piece called Spring Up, which is about the creation of one of my paintings. It's very brief. It's like under 2 minutes, I think, but they will have that there in a group show.
oh, nice.
And I'm also showing in Rome, Italy.
Oh, wow.
uh, it's called B Part, B, and then two little asterisks, Part. And it's the largest, I think, group exhibition. He's trying to have some world record or something like that. But it's in Rome, Italy. It's the actual painting. And it's in 24 parts. One of my paintings that's 24 by 24 and 24 parts. So it's a very interesting show. And that's at Atelier Montez in
Mhm.
Rome, Italy. So
Oh,
if anyone look it up, he has a lot of media about that.
yeah. Oh, that's I wish I could just take a trip to Rome and
Oh, so you're into her. Yeah, I know.
right.
Wow. Me, I know. enough, it'll change. It's,
Yeah. Normally, would you be going there to
yeah,
see that in person? Yeah.
yeah. Don't, I don't, I don't think I was going to do the South Korea one, but I would have done the
Yeah.
Western European, and then I was actually supposed to go to Poland because I have several pieces that are going to be in the permanent collection there. So that was very exciting, but I'm not sure if they'll postpone that opening. Probably, I would imagine.
Right.
Um, so perhaps I'll be doing that next fall.
Yeah. Well, it's great that they're still able to have work, being shown in person right now. So.
Yeah, and my gallery in San Francisco, Art House, like I mentioned before, they always show my work and they're very supportive. So, and that's a great gallery too. So that's consistent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
also I do show at another gallery in Chatham, Florham Park, New Jersey, called Contemporary Art and Editions. They're
Mm.
closed for the summer actually, but I think they're going to be opening the end of the month. And that's a wonderful space. It's like an airplane hangar, and it has galleries in it. A
Oh,
lot of
cool.
people don't know that actually, but it's in Florham Park and it's called Contemporary Art and Editions,
Okay.
and an incredible, beautiful space.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah, I have to check that out. I've never heard of that. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I could definitely give you the address and everything, but you could just
Yeah.
Google it, sure, and you'll see beautiful things.
Yeah.
It's great work in there.
So, yeah, I mean, my only other question is just, about any other like upcoming projects or, are you focused a lot on the business now, like the products, or are you painting at the same time? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I am working in the studio preparing for a solo exhibition at the Nicolesan Art Museum in Wyoming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that, and that might be postponed also.
Mm,
But I do have work there now in a fundraiser they're doing,
okay.
but that's pretty much a focus. Another exhibition will be at the Museo Italo Americano in San Francisco. So
Mm.
it should be in 2021, but no one really knows.
Yeah.
But hopefully that will be also next fall.
Oh, awesome.
Two exhibitions I'm certainly working on because that's a lot of work to
Yeah.
them and be prepared for those spaces. So
Right. And are those sort of like retrospective? Or they is there a specific theme that you're working on?
yeah, I don't think retrospective, but it certainly would be in the last 5 years.
Okay. Okay. Very
Work
cool.
5 years, and that will be sculpture, works on paper, and painting.
Oh, great. Awesome. I hope they're able to go up and that.
Thank you. I know, right? The whole paradigm shift is going on right now.
Yeah, right. It's hard to know what's happening, but
I'll say, right? But it's great to meet like this. Like a lot of people are doing studio visits like this,
yeah.
and it's just not the same. But thank you for the opportunity today. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it. I hope it introduces my work to a lot of people.
Yeah, no, it was great to see your studio, and thank you for showing us like some things in progress. It's really fun to see that. So definitely keep an eye out and look out for the upcoming shows. And I'm gonna try to get to the Oculus as well and see that. That sounds awesome. So,
Good, thank you.
all right, well, have a great rest of the day.
You too. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.